last week of the third quarter of your senior year in high school. Oh. Exciting and terrifying probably for you. But that means if you have not turned in your investment portfolio assignment, that's an assessment grade, get it turned in. If you've not turned in your PowerPoint, that is a humongous assessment grade, get it turned in. The portfolio was the spreadsheet one, yep, with the pie chart. Most people are graded, everybody who turned it in on time and who actually put their name on their pie chart, theirs is graded. There was a few people who turned them in on time but did not put their name on the pie chart, so when I downloaded the spreadsheets, I didn't know whose it was. But I can go back on Canvas and find that. So that's what I'm doing next. And I'm grading the late ones as we go. So the PowerPoints are going to take me a bit. I'm going to finish the spreadsheets first. But remember, honestly, the PowerPoints should really only help your grade because they are, I'm going to stop short, they're not technically completion grades, but if you follow the rubric, you made a good effort on all the parts of the rubric, it should be a good grade easily, okay? So those probably won't be graded, if I'm being honest, until the very end of the quarter and maybe even the teacher planning day because they're going to take me a while to grade. But we do have a test next week, next Thursday. Also going to let you have that Friday, which is the last day of the quarter. If you wanted to retake the Unit 8 quiz, you could retake that if you did not do as well as you wanted to do. There will be a requirement for correcting that quiz first and getting that correction turned in. And then I will let you do it in class that day. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If you, let me see, you have your worksheet, Nishad, your, you can see the schedule. Okay. So we're going to look. Yeah. Okay. So Matt and his wife earned $83,476 in taxable income and are filing jointly. How much do they owe in taxes? I have a formula for that. No, it's not there, but we're going to. So let's go ahead and use this formula. We're going to be using this formula all day today. So go ahead and write this formula at the top of example 5. So it's going to be the tax from the schedule. That means you have to find the range of income on the schedule that goes with this taxable income. Then you're going to find that beginning amount of tax and the percent you get to pay over the minimum amount. So sounds like a lot. Not really. We're about to do this one, so go ahead and get your formula written down. All right, y'all caught up with me? You're working on it? Okay. All right, you're writing that formula. I hope the problem. Yes. Okay. So we have to look at their filing status, and it says they're filing jointly. And when they say Matt and his wife, now we know they're married. So you're going to go to that schedule on the back of your worksheet that you can also use to complete the worksheet today, and find the section that says married filing jointly, and that's the one on the top right. Now we're going to look for the range of income that this income falls into expense for too. So everybody found it on your worksheet? Yes. Okay. Trying to get my word to work. There we go. Okay, so remember this is the I. Alright, so the tax and the schedule, so if you found that range, Latinas found it, it's the $65,100 to $131,450 range. What's the tax that goes with that? $6,227. So the tax in the schedule, that's the tax in the schedule. Okay? So that's what we just wrote right here. Plus the percent, well, there's a percent next to that number, 25%. We're going to convert that to a decimal. And you don't have to put the zero there if you can. So that is the percent. Now the next thing is we're putting the I. This is Matt and his wife's taxable income. The I goes next. $83,476 minus, so we've already got that. Now this is the minimum I, the minimum the minimum taxable income in that range. So what is the minimum taxable income in that range? Yes, $65,100. So this portion of their income they pay 25% on. So now you're going to enter that in the calculator, hit the equal sign, straight across. You don't have to give me any subtotals, anything, just straight across. This is what you're showing for work, and give me the answer. $13,556.60 for the taxes money, so we're rounding to that, or we're going to do it 2 decimal places. If it comes up 25 in your calculator, don't forget to add a 0. Any questions? Okay. We're going to go on to number 6. Sorry? Okay. Okay, I'll go back. Do you need lead? What size do you need? 7. I don't know, I may use 0.5, but I'll look. Okay. So we just did one married filing jointly, so let's do B and D. So head of household. So this says determine the taxes owed for each filing status and taxable income amount. So this is the same problem that we just did. Right? So this is a taxable income. We're going to go to the filing status schedule, to the head of household schedule, and look for the range of values that this income is in. Did you find it, Tristan? Okay, so let's find it. So we're looking on your worksheet. The back of your worksheet has the schedules on it. So what is the range? What is the minimum and maximum that this income falls in on that schedule? Sam?
The minimum is 45,500 and the maximum is 117,000.
Okay, that sounds right. So what is the tax that goes with that range, Sam?
The tax is
Yes.
25%.
What's the actual tax dollar amount for that minimum amount of tax for that range? So look to the right, there's a dollar amount.
6,227.
Yes. And then the 25% that you referred to, we write that as a decimal. So this is that same formula we just wrote at the top of example 5. Since it's the back of the page, you may want to go ahead and write that example again. I'll put it at the top of my page so you can. So this is the formula we're plugging into to find the total tax. So now the I is this, 48,412, and the minimum taxable income in that range is 45,500, Sam said. Just enter in your calculator and we're done. $6,955.50. And see if you can find the schedule for a widower. The filing status of a qualifying widower. Do you see that schedule? So it's with it's on the same schedule as what? Yes, married filing jointly. So it's the top right one again. So find that range that the $58,600 falls into. Do you know what we're doing next one? D, this is the range we're looking at here, right? Because 50,000 falls into there. So this is the tax we're looking at, right? Okay. So what is the tax that coordinates with the appropriate range for D? What's the tax amount, Robert? Head of household.
15, no, 15, yeah,
Yes. Yep. $1,605 is what you pointed to. So that's what the percentage that goes with that tax amount. 15%, you're right, 15% of the decimal. And now our I, the taxable income we're finding the tax on. And then minus the minimum income in that category. Sandra, we can verify that for now. And the minimum tax in that category, taxable income in that category is, or that range is what, Colby? What's the minimum taxable income in that range? $16,050. So we're subtracting $16,050. Get our equal sign, get it within your calculator from left to right. Sorry? Sure. And so the tax, if your filing status is a widower, qualifying widower, on $58,622 taxable income, $7,990.80. Do you take yours off too, Michelle? I know they're probably not on, but makes me feel better than not over your ears. Okay, we're about to use our last problem we're going to do together. Number 7, we're going to use the same formula, but we're not going to be finding the total tax. We're going to know the total tax. So remember, if you have a formula or an equation, if there's more than one variable in that equation and you plug in for everything except for one variable, you can always solve for any of the parts of that equation. So right now, on number 6 example, we were finding the total tax, we were given all this stuff. Now, on example 7, oh, cool, I forgot this part. We'll come back to that because I'm on a roll. For this one, the same formula you'll notice, but what they've asked for and what they're giving us are different. So they asked us to find the taxable income. So we don't know the taxable income. But we do know the total tax now. We know the tax from the schedule. We know the minimum, we can find the minimum taxable income in that range. The only thing we don't know is the taxable income in order to have a $4,277.50 in taxes. So we've been finding the range of taxable income that this would fall into, and now we're going to actually find the exact amount of taxes. So we're on the head of household still, so you're looking at the same schedule. And I'm going to go back to the schedule this time. Okay, head of household schedule. So the total tax, they owe $4,277.50, is that right? Okay. So we need the tax from the schedule. That's the first thing that goes in our blank. But we don't know, we have to figure out which range of income this would fall in. And we did that yesterday at the beginning of these notes. So we look at each of our ranges. This is a zero tax, by the way. So this is 0 plus 10% in the formula. If the taxable income falls in this range, your first number for the tax from the schedule would be 0. Does that make sense, Sam? So there's no number there, right?
Yeah.
if you were finding, let's say, the tax on $5,000, that would fall, a taxable income of $5,000 would fall in this range, correct? So the tax is not zero, it's 0 plus 10% of the $5,000. Does that make sense, Faith? Okay. All right. Totally don't need that for this problem. Okay. We want to know, does the tax amount fall in between these two tax amounts? It does not, right? But it does fall in between these two tax amounts, which coordinate to these two ranges. But remember, this means this is the minimum tax that's paid in this range, and our tax is not that much. So the range that we're looking at goes with this tax. So this is the range we're looking at. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, Michelle says yes. Does that make sense, Isabel? Does that make sense, Jay? Hunter? Okay. So our formula says the tax from the table. Michelle?
What is one number over here?
These numbers?
Far right, not the far right.
Oh, 10% of the amount over $0. 15% of the amount over $11,950. But it's a difference in the taxable income and that amount. Okay? So the tax amount from the table is this $11.95. Does that make sense? That we have a formula. Tax from the schedule. Plus the percent that goes with that tax. 15% we're going to write as 0.15. Parentheses, taxable income. But remember, taxable income is what we don't know. The taxable income is I, and that is an unknown, so we're going to leave the variable there. We're going to subtract from that variable the minimum taxable income in the range. The minimum, the smallest amount in that range, is $11,950. And it equals our total tax. We know our total tax this time, so we plug that in. So we're plugging things into the same formula, but we're not, but with different unknowns and different knowns this time. Does that make sense, Tristan? Okay. So now, if you're great at solving equations, you can have at it. I'm going to remind you and show the easiest strategy, I think, for solving this equation. We can use our calculators on this. There's a couple ways to do it, but I'm going to suggest that we always subtract this constant first. And when we do, now we have left 1,500 times I minus 11,950 equals, I think it's 3082.50. I think I finally remembered it after today. $3,082.50. You will not hurt my feelings if you double check me on that. So at this point we could distribute. I don't think that's the easiest way to do it though. I think the easiest way to do the next step is divide by the decimal. Whatever you do one side of an equation, we do the other side, keep it balanced, it's all good. So 0.15 divided by 0.15 simplifies to 1, which just leaves us 1 times I minus 11,950. So it's just I minus 11,950 equals, I think it's 20,000, I don't remember. Somebody help me. 3082.50 divided by 0.15. Will you help me, Hunter? 20,250? 550. That sounds right. Okay, great. Thank you. And now, it's a minus here, so to get the I by itself, we add the 1950. And I know some of you hate to solve equations, but this equation can be solved exactly the same way every time. So even if you feel like you're not good at it, if you do the exact same thing every time on these, you don't have to figure out how to solve it. I'm telling you what to do. You should be able to do it. So we pay $4,277.50 a head of household in taxes. This is the taxable income. So we did not do. Any questions for me? Steve, that make sense? All right, and I did two other examples with everybody else, so let's go back to 6 and we'll do these two together. Okay. Let's do, oh, didn't we do this one? I've done it so many times today, I forget who, have we done, G? Okay, let's do G and E and G. We're gonna do E and G together. So now we are determining your taxes. We do know our taxable income amount. They've given us that. That's what these are. We're still using the same formula. So you go to the married filing separately schedule and find the range of incomes that this value falls into. Got it? Did you find it? Okay. So we're on 6, E right now, so you can 6E. Did you find it? The third one? Did you get the third one too? All right. So we're on married filing separately. This one? So the minimum income in that range is $32,550 and the maximum is $65,725. That looks right. Ours falls in between there. So the tax amount from the schedule, look to the right and you'll see that that tax amount is $4,481.25. We look to the right a little bit further and we see that the percent that we pay for over the minimum is 25%. So we write that as a decimal. To find the difference in the minimum in our taxable income I minus the minimum in that range. The minimum in that range is $32,550. We get that from the schedule. Enter this in your calculator, and you should see that if you're married, filing separately, and you had a taxable income of $64,125, that your tax bill would be $12,375. Finally, we're going to do G for widower. Find the schedule for a widower. Which schedule is the widower with? Which schedule? Top right, Michelle said, Isabel said jointly, right? Married filing jointly. The top right, it says married filing jointly and qualifying widower. So that's what we're looking at. So find the range in that schedule. Which range is it? First, second, third, fourth, which one is it? The third. Okay. So what is the tax that goes with that third? Yes. And what is the percent that goes with that range, Colby? What's the percent that goes with the tax for our taxable income? Good. I'm going to write that as a decimal. Now we're going to find the difference between our taxable income and the minimum amount in that range. What's the minimum amount in that range? $65,000? $65,100. And now, entering your calculator left to right, don't forget to hit the equal sign, and the tax on that amount, if your status is a widower, $13,631.25. And that's based on these tax schedules. Just so you know, the tax schedules, the tax tables, the tax worksheets don't always stay the same from year to year. I feel certain that the tax tables and the tax schedules are never the same. There are some worksheets that may be the same, and the worksheets help you find taxes. It depends if rules or laws have changed as to whether or not those things have changed. And so you guys are going to finish any problems that we didn't do together on your notes, and then scan them and turn them in. And then you're going to work on your worksheet. The schedules for your worksheet are the same as the one for your notes. I can. That one? That one in or one more? That one? Okay.